So good evening. I'm Mr. Traveling. I'm the Social Studies Department Chair. Tonight we would like to just take you through the course catalog as well as the faculty members on the department team. So beginning with myself, I have a bachelor's degree in history with a concentration in secondary education, as well as a minor in special education from Chestnut Hill College. I currently teach in terms of adapting to um, virtual instruction. Myself, as well as Mr. James and Miss Joyner, have quickly adapted to the challenges of teaching virtually. So our youth actually has benefited us. Uh, Next, we have Miss Joyner, and she'll present.
Hi, my name is Miss Joyner. So I teach the U.S. government course. I also teach the comparative government course that they can take as an elective senior year. Um, as you see, I graduated from Dominican with a Bachelor of Arts in Social Science. And for the U.S. government course, we really talk about the foundations of our government here. And then for the comparative course, we compare the different governments from around the world to our government here. Yeah.
Okay. And hello, good evening. My name is James. I've also been in the Archdiocese for 4 years, as Miss Joyner has, but I've also been a product of Catholic education my entire life. Born and raised in right here in the Archdiocese of Philadelphia, and it was because of my high school teacher, specifically my junior year social studies teacher, that inspired me to want to be a teacher as well. And I always loved social studies. So it's just a great treat for me to be here in the Archdiocese, to be a teacher, and to now be on the other side of the desk, as it were, to give the knowledge that I have and impart it on students to maybe want to be interested to investigate on their own things that they were interested in or that they would want to know more about. And so I teach world history to freshmen, and in that course, we obviously study a lot. We have to cover a lot of ground in such a short year. We study the history and the cultural development of the big four civilizations that started in our first written histories. But then we also talk about like human interaction and how throughout time, uh, economic and political systems have changed, as well as social structures. I mean, we were just talking about in this last chapter how the role of women in ancient Sumerian Egypt, and how just in the course of a couple thousand years BC, it went from women having absolutely no rights to women having, the ability to have jobs and to own property. And obviously that took a lot more years to develop. So just teaching them to think critically about how the world has developed and grown and changed over time, and how for better or worse, mostly better, it's we've been a society that's been able to cooperate and have good relationships. I'm also the senior psychology and sociology teacher, and I've taught AP psychology before. So taking a slower step, I do 1 semester of psychology, and the second spring semester is sociology. But with psychology, you really delve into the human mind and our behaviors, and what causes us to be a certain way or act a certain way. What is the biological uh, foundation of that reason? How have we developed over time? How do we see and perceive things? How do different students learn such different topics in different ways, as well as our personality? We might even get to talk about psychological disorders and why certain people are born with disorders like autism or schizophrenia. And in the spring, I also talk about sociology. And that really just talks about, that kind of connects with world history, where we examine human interaction and cultural phenomenons and topics like inequality and different groups and genders and races and how that has evolved over time in our country. And with this current state that we are in, and all the history that's happening around us, it's a lot of topics that we can make connections to. And I always like this quote. I've heard of a quote before. It was like, those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. But I mean, for this, when whether it's U.S. history, world history, or American government, just understanding where we came from and having the knowledge of who we are and how we've got here will make us better citizens going forward. Especially that we'll have students becoming of voting age, whether it's this election or the next election. That I hope, and I think it's the goal of all our teachers, to better serve our students by giving them different perspectives and showing both sides of the coin, and the ideologies of those political parties, or just histories of the country, because it will impact the future as with those enlightened voters.
All right, so next we'll move into the course requirements. So from freshman to senior year, student historians and the three of us, that the importance of history within a curriculum, especially for high school students, that it truly does build strong citizens and informed voters going forward. As Benjamin Franklin says, right, it's a republic if you can keep it. That second part is very interesting, that part of our civic duty is a responsibility of learning history and being knowledgeable. And between the three of us, we take that responsibility very seriously. So student testimony, this is just one of the many testimonies that we've received from our students. This student said, "Thank you for helping me develop as a stronger student. You always made the work feel easy and relatable to something we knew about." So again, as part of all of our history classes, we try and apply it to the present day, right? To keep them engaged, and then, as Mr. James pointed out, to hopefully affect the future. One thing I would like to highlight is our passing rate within the social studies department for advanced placement testing. For the past several years, we have increased it, and that's a team effort from when the students enter in as freshmen, and then by the time they reach my course or take an AP class as a senior online, we tend to build these critical thinking skills early on, that by the time they do take an advanced placement course, they are ready. So we are really proud of that number, and we hope to continue to increase it. So thank you for listening to our presentation and joining us tonight. You could contact us at the website or with our email. Or at this time, are there any questions that you have regarding the social studies department or regarding our curriculum?
Thanks, Mr. Travellini. I'm not seeing any questions in the Q&A. I did just want to point out, I want to emphasize that 65% AP pass rate for 8th graders who are interested. As a junior, you can take advanced placement U.S. history. That's a college credit course, and you take a national exam at the end of the year. So that 65% is students who pass that national exam and actually earn college credit that they can take with them to any college, which is really something special. That's a great pass rate for us for that exam. So we're really proud of that. And that's, again, a testimony to our teachers in the social studies department. Social studies teachers, thank you so much for your presentation, for sharing, and